Hey guys, so I've had a few people ask me how I made the rocket section of the trailer, and so I thought I'd just show you. It's the most complicated part was honestly the rigging of the rocket, so I'm going to go through that first, and then I'll just show you how I set up the trails for it and create that lovely effect. So if we jump in, we've got just this super simple comp. I've just got like a rocket shape and an exhaust here. And what we're going to want to do is make these exhausts sort of spin around the back of the rocket. So what we're going to do is create a null object straight away, and we'll just name this exhaust spin. And then our first exhaust here, we're just going to parent that to this exhaust spin. I'm just going to hide the main rocket layer here so we can see what we're doing a bit easier. And then I'm just going to duplicate this until I got 4 of them. And I'll open up the position for these, and then I basically want to arrange these around this spin null. So the first one, let's set to 100 on X. Second one, let's set to minus 100 on X, and then 100 on Y, and minus 100 on Y. And now we've just got these distributed around this null here. So if you see, we spin here, and that's not the effect we want at all. So we're going to select all our layers, we're going to make them 3D, and then we are going to make a camera. And when we make a camera, what this is going to allow us to do is to go back. Let me just hide all these so we can see what we're doing. The camera is going to allow us to go back, select these exhaust layers, we're going to right click them, go to transform, auto orient, and orient towards camera, and that means these are always going to be looking at the camera now. So if we take this spin that we've got going on and we spin it around now, you can see that we can spin these on the X here, and it will always have the rockets facing towards us, and that's great. But we just need to turn the Y rotation here to 90, and what that's going to do is align them all in 3D space, and then when we turn the X rotation, you can see we've got this lovely spin. So if I just turn the rocket back on here, I'm actually just going to take this null and scale it down a tiny bit just so the rockets fit on the back of the rocket there. And then let's just animate this. So let's set this to 0, and then let's have it maybe spinning slowly for a second, and then let's do a fast spin. So we'll just drag that around a bunch, and then another slower spin at the end. So now we've got this spin. Let's just go in and change the speed graph here so that we start with it going slow, have it speed up a bit here. Let's put quite a lot of ease on this bit here, and then we can just have it spin down to stopped again. Let's maybe just add a little bit more on there and drag this up, give it a bit more time. Great, so now we've got this sort of spin to our rocket, and the next part's going to be to add the actual trails. So I'm just going to go onto the background layer just so the trails are created at the bottom here. I'm going to create new trails layer, and then all I need to do is add 3 more points. So I've got 4 points on my trail. Actually, for this one, I can delete the points nulls that are created here, because we can just attach our trails directly to the rockets here. So I'm just going to go through point 1, exhaust 1, point 2, exhaust 2, etc., etc. So now we've got our trails being created on this, and if we play through, we will see that there's not much going on. We can see a little bit of trails here. So what we're going to do is go into our dynamic effects. We're going to do add movement, tick that on, and then we're just going to drag this way back. Let's go like 500, see how good that is. Let's go more than that, let's go 1000. Why not? And now, if we zoom out and play back, we can see that our trails are going to be creating this sort of movement from the rockets here. and this is a really cool little effect. One of the cool things about having it set up with the movement is that the movement's always going to be dragging the trail back to 1,000 points. So if we've got something like this, where the movement's all happening on one axis, just happening on the Y there, we can go in, we can set this trail length up. So if I'll hide these so we can see this. At the moment it's set to 5. If we set this to 10, you can see that we get more of the movement from those rockets. So we could go up further. We could drag this as high as we want, really. Obviously, at a certain point, it's going to go past the beginning of the comp. But let's leave this at 10 for now. Playback, and we've got our rocket trails, and that looks really cool, really nice. One of the other things I did, the only other thing I did really, was to go in, turn on velocity trails here, and that's made a small loop change. And if you just drag this way up, you can see that we're adding a lot of velocity to the actual trails that are created. So when we play this back now, give it a second to think, and it should add the velocity from the movement of these over the course of the line, which is going to add this really nice flow to the animation. There we go. That looks rather nice. If we want to just clean up these lines a bit, we can go in the last video I was talking about turning up the point samples, so we can turn up the point samples there. But the first thing I'm going to do is just go in, select my appearance path trails, and go to mask and shape path, turn on rotor bezier for each of them. And we can see now that we've got a lot smoother lines already. It's still a little bit wobbly looking, so I'm just going to turn this up to 20. And now when we play back, we're going to get a really nice smooth line coming from the rocket to create the trail there. That looks great. So the last thing we can do here, if we just want to add a little bit of a taper to the lines within After Effects, again this is not really about trails, but it's a good tip. We can go to the appearance here, zoom in again, just drag over here so we can see it. We can add a repeater, and that's going to repeat the lines above it. So we want to go into this repeater, we want to go to the transform, turn the position down to 0, and we're just going to turn the rotation up by, let's say, 0.5%. And you can see already that's added a nice little taper along the lines as it's rotating. We can turn up these copies, and then we can move the offset down a little bit to -3. If we've got 6 copies, then that will mean that the rotations are happening around the original line. So now when we play back, we're going to have this really nice tapered stroke coming from the back of the rockets. And that's all you need to do. It's super simple, it's really quick to set up, and it looks great. So enjoy, and let me see anything you make. There's a hashtag #AETrails that you can use on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll check out anything you make with trails. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys.